This week, I figured we'd take a break from GN drives and martial arts and look at something a little bit more gritty. I wanted to look at something that a lot of my friends and myself grew up with, which was a fan favorite, the 8th MS team.
That's right, cower. Be afraid. Die knowing you lost to someone who really knows how to use a mobile suit.
He wants me to retreat. Time to attack! Ah!
This is getting fun now.
Now it's your turn!
It's 101R Smith, and I'm back again today to present to you guys a review of the Master Grade Gundam Ez8 from the OVA series, the 8th MS Team. The 8th MS Team was a 13-episode series that was on Toonami in the early 2000s. That was on the Midnight Run because it was way more violent than even Gundam Wing and the original Mobile Suit Gundam. I like it because while a lot of people like myself are more akin to the alternative universe, there are a big handful of people that just love the Universal Century. I myself am a bit of a fan of it, but I like more of the side stories than the main series outside of original Zeta and Unicorn. We're going back a little bit in time a little bit because this is one of the very first early Master Grades. The Ez8 Gundam came out in late 2000, so when the Gundam craze was going on in North America, this was probably a lot of people's very first kit. You know, it's interesting to see. This is probably one of my older Master Grades because I had the G Gundam series, which was early 2000s as well, but this one's a lot older. I wanted to see how Master Grades were made back in the day and what they bring and brought to the table, because there were some gimmicks that were left behind when the Master Grade line advanced with technology. Maybe there were some good, some bad, and I was curious. I like the Ez8 Gundam because it's essentially a notch down from RX-78, but still more competent than the traditional grunt unit, because this was originally a grunt unit. This was Shiro's ground type that got upgraded because he's a crazy bastard, and he said, this guy is willing to take a bullet for a scene. This guy is literally willing to take a rocket launcher in front of a mobile suit and blast it. Let's give him some type of upgrade because I think he deserves it. So it's something like a semi-ace suit that's almost a little bit above of a grunt. So I was always interested to see it, and I do like the design, and I want to see what I can do with it. So why don't we open up the box and see what we have here? Opening up the box, and you're going to see that you're going to be getting a fair standard early 2000s Master Grade. You're going to get a lot of off-white, some teal green, and inner frame. You're also going to be getting a large sheet of polycaps, and you're going to be getting screws like the G Gundam series. However, unlike the G Gundam series, you won't be getting a lot of screws. A pair for the shoulders and a pair for the elbows, which is very helpful with this kit. So otherwise, it's not really too much, but one little niche detail that I like is that they give you a 1/20 upscale figure of Shiro Amada, which was something that you got in a lot of the 1/100 scales with the Wing X and Seed lines that you really just don't see anymore. Otherwise, it's fairly standard and nothing too flashy, which is good. All built up, and now we have the Master Grade Gundam Ez8. And I'm not gonna lie here. While this does look good, it's very recognizable as the Ez8. I find that the proportions are a little bit out of wax. When I built this up, I felt it was kind of short and bulky. I understand the chest is made to be bulky for a specific reason, but I just feel the arms are too short, the legs are too stubby, and just this thing is just a little too thick. I was expecting proportions more the lines of RX-78 2.0. Granted, that is a much later Master Grade, but still, I would think that it would match up with the original Gundam. Still, this is very recognizable as an Easy 8. You get a fair amount of details. You do have to do painting with the chin, but otherwise you can make it work. So with the looks, why don't we take a look at some articulation? We're going to start at the head, and honestly, you're not getting much. You get some up and down, side to side, and really that's it. Not much. The arms can go about perpendicular to the mobile suit, and can go 360 degrees, no problem. There's some very limited chest movement, but the sides and front skirts can move up no problem. The back is unfortunately stationary. With the legs, you're going to get technically a double jointed knees, but one of them is made out of polycap, and if you push too far, it's going to come out. The shin armor moves by itself, and unfortunately, you get no toe articulation to speak of whatsoever. So, Now let's look at accessories, and admittedly, you do get a fair amount of accessories with this Master Grade. There's a lot to cover, but it's a little basic. Let me explain. First off, you're going to get your standard pair of beam sabers. And nothing too fancy about it, but it does work with a cool gimmick that the Master Grade has. What you could do is open up the hatches on the sides and store the beam saber hilts, and then pull it out for later, which works pretty good. It doesn't get stuck at all, and you can pull it out very easily. Next, you're going to get your standard beam rifle, and unfortunately, due to this being an older Master Grade, you're not going to get a lot of holding with it. There's no pegs on the hands, but if you maneuver it enough, you can get some decent poses out of the rifles. Fortunately, it can pop off very easily. You just gotta hope that you hold the hands tight enough around it. Next, you're gonna get the signature layout of the shield and machine gun. And again, these are very standard. The machine gun is missing a lot of its color because it's mainly molded in black. And next, you're gonna get the rocket launcher. And again, mainly molded in black. And unfortunately, due to how the hands are, it's very tricky for it to hold. And again, it's very awkward. Here's me trying to do some type of rocket launch, but the legs and the hands just won't work with me as well as I thought it would. However, the rocket launcher does come with a cool gimmick. What you could do is that the rocket launcher comes in 4 separate pieces, and you can store them in the backpack here for storage or when he needs to put it all together. And it works pretty well when you add it in. It does add a little bit of weight issues, but it's not going to hold the Easy 8 back too much. Just be mindful of it, and he should be able to pose just fine. My final thoughts on the Master Grade Easy 8 Gundam is that it's passable. It does what it has to do to be a 1/100th Master Grade of the Easy 8 Gundam. But I just feel it could do so much more. If you were expecting to get some G Gundam style of posing here, I'm sorry, you are SOL. The leg connection works on a little bit of a ball peg that can move and alternate, but unfortunately, it's very loose, and at times it seems like the Easy 8 can fall on itself. The hands, unfortunately, are very outdated and just don't work as well as they used to. I tried to get some more dynamic posing with the rocket launcher, but again, it just didn't feel like it really wanted to work with me. You have to do painting on this game. There's a lot of color detail missing, more especially on the shoulders, and again with the red chin. I painted that with a red Gundam marker. And also, there's some very loose pieces on this kit as well. You have to actually glue down the pale antenna that comes with this thing. And it doesn't really work. As a matter of fact, while trying to put this thing together, the antenna broke. So I'm missing the antenna on its head. The Easy 8 Gundam, again, is just very passable. It's doable. Personally, I would go with the high grade. You're going to get better articulation, and you're going to get more accessories. I really do hope that one day we do get a Master Grade 2.0 or some type of Kotoki Hajime remake of this thing. I just don't like the proportions, and so much more can be done with this. It's really sad to see the Easy 8 Gundam be able to not be able to pose. It's just really sad to see the state of the early Master Grade. This thing needs a 2.0 battle. But for what it does, and for its time period, it was very serviceable. It's very doable, and I'm still happy to have it in my collection, even if there's a little bit of a disdain to it as I have it. I hope this review was able to help you out on this. If you're still a fan of the 8MS team, I still say this if you're willing to work with what you have. Maybe you can do some modding on it or something amazing. But for a standard build for today, it just really isn't up your alley. I'd say go high grade. This is 101R Smith, and I will see you later. Peace!